proximity sensors. There are two types of sensors. One category is related to switching operation, another is related to measuring operation. Sensing operation is related to producing digital output, and measuring mode of the sensor is relevant to the analog operation of the sensor, which produces proportionate output for the input physical quantities. Contact based sensors and contactless, also called non-contact sensors. We know mechanical switches, which already we studied, sliding switches, toggle switches, push buttons, rotary switches. These switches are nothing but the contact based switches, because we have to handle directly, we have to press it. So that is nothing but the contact based operation, whereas non-contact based operations include inductive proximity sensor, capacitive proximity sensor, optical proximity sensor, and ultrasonic proximity sensors. Inductive, capacitive, optical, name itself indicates that principles involved in those proximity sensors belonging to variation in inductance, variation in capacitance, and variation in optical properties. Mostly we prefer inductive proximity sensor. Inductive proximity sensor sense only ferrous atoms. But suppose the object which is to be detected is not ferrous, then in that case we must go for capacitive proximity sensor. So understanding of one proximity sensor is very essential. Once you understand any one of two, you can easily understand other. The basic difference between inductive and capacitive is, in inductive, magnetic field is produced because there is a coil and we pass current through that coil, so magnetic field is produced, whereas in capacitor, electric field is produced because it is based on the capacitor. So there are plates and the
Active proximity sensor requires a metal target, whereas a capacitive photoelectric sensor may be suitable for a plastic target. Proximity sensors have a long functional life and high reliability due to the absence of mechanical parts and the lack of physical contact between the sensor and the target.
As far as construction of the proximity sensor is concerned, there are 4 blocks. The first block is the sensing phase, which is mainly made up of the coil. Then we have oscillator section. Then we have trigger level and signal converter section. And we have output amplifier and trigger section at the 4th stage. So in proximity sensor we have actually the closed path, and that is why at most of the block, if you see, there are 2 operations. go through demonstration video. So you will understand many things about the proximity sensor. Actually, there are PNP and NPN. There are two types of proximity sensors, and it is depending upon the connection, because NPN sensor is connected a different way as compared to PNP. It is just like a PNP transistor and NPN transistor. You can easily understand. So please go through this video and try to understand the basic fundamental few ratings of the proximity sensors. Please go through the video and try to understand proximity sensor. I have prepared one small demonstration circuitry So without using PLC or without connecting this proximity sensor to any hardware, small circuitry is developed by me, and that is included in this video. You can understand this very simple buzzer based circuitry and LEDs. If there is some ferrous object like screwdriver, if you see in the video, if you bring the screwdriver, metal part of the screwdriver closer to the head of the proximity sensor, then it will be sensed and buzzer start sounding. If you move the metal part of that screwdriver far away from the head, then you will find that sound get stopped because it is not in the sensing range of the proximity sensor.